Humans aren't born out of laying around on their asses. We've been born out of conquering a world. We're the dominant species. We built all this. We're powerful and we're beautiful and we're ready to build the next level of civilization in God's plan. But you must stop bowing to those who want to make you a victim. You must become the victor. If you love God and you want to build a pro-human future, then you are an enemy of the New World Order and Satanism. They want us shut down because we have the Spirit. I'm jacked into the source. I know the secret, and I want to see you empowered. But you have to believe in yourself first. This is the truth, and everyone knows it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've made it no secret on my channel that I do not like Ethan Klein. I think his rhetoric, I think his personality, I think most of what he does is terrible. And it falls onto the progressive side of the political stack. So that on its own, I'm not going to like it. But, I mean, the fact is, this guy has said things that I would put at Hassan caliber retardation. Like when he talked about, talking about bombing the NRA. There was a convention going on, and just joking about bombing a convention and stuff like that. This guy has said things that are pretty despicable. However, the miraculous thing is not any of that, but the fact that the people that are criticizing Ethan right now are actually worse than he is. They're actually making him look good by comparison, and that is a marvel in and of itself. So iDubbbz's is attempting to revive his career. He has a little podcast. He gets like 3,000 people to watch. He is definitely not as he once was. He's fallen off, as the kids say. So he thought that he would be able to revive his career by doing what a lot of other people have done when they've reached that sort of bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the barrel, and become like a Hassan Piker waiting room. Become a regressive shit stain that just blurts out some of the most inane, insufferable garbage and thinks that you're a good person for doing it. The irony of all this, and Ethan Klein is going to point this out in his video, but by the very end of this, Ethan actually shows iDubbbz's apology. And this is really what I wanted to focus on in this video. I don't need to go over all the details. I don't need to go over all that stuff. I'm sure most people who are familiar with this will have, gone over this in detail with other content creators. But I think this is important because in this clip, iDubbbz's is apologizing for his content cops in the past and saying that he has found enlightenment and empathy and he has moved on. But Ethan points out, wait a minute, if you've reached this sort of enlightenment, why are you coming back to do a content cop that is obviously as salacious and ridiculous as this one? And you know what? I hate to say it, but Ethan has a pretty good point.
He's achieved nirvana and discovered empathy at age 32.
I think only in these past couple of years have I gained the ability empathy. And I'm very ashamed to admit that. It sounds really pathetic to say at the age of 32 I've acquired empathy, but I have, and I've realized it because I just can't help myself but feel for other people's pain and suffering now. I'm still not perfect. I think that is my empathy meter's only maybe a quarter of the way filled up, potentially, but it's at least there.
In the spirit of his newfound enlightenment, he had this to say.
I have made some cruel, hurtful content, and I need to acknowledge that, and I'm really sorry that it's taken me this long to acknowledge it. The content I'm talking about specifically are content cop videos and videos where I was just generally criticizing people for very lackluster reasons, and obviously didn't have any accountability online whatsoever on my end. I was morally grandstanding and acting as if I am any better than any of these people that I was making content cop videos on, and I'm not. I'm a human, I'm a real human who makes mistakes, and I make a different set of mistakes than the people I was making videos on, but it doesn't matter. I don't think anyone deserves that level of cruelty or hate. It's also indoctrinated a lot of people into thinking that this is an okay way to behave, and it's not.
What happened? Am I so uniquely evil that you're willing to abandon your newfound principles after, what, less than a year? What is it that I've done, Ian, that makes me more detestable than any of the other people that you've content copped? And for what did you do this? To revitalize your dying career? This entire video reeks of desperation, of being thrown together, and poorly researched. I don't really even understand why they did this, and I can't imagine that it's going to be worth it. Thanks for the 8 years of friendship, buddy. Have fun with your new friends.
So yeah, I think that pretty much sums it up. I mean, in this video, he goes over the fact that iDubbbz takes these clips of Ethan trying to make him seem like he's insane, but ignores that all of the clips that were taken were from the stream where CPS was called on them and they showed up at their house. Anyone would be understandably upset. And this is the clip with Bad Empanada talking to Denims about how his kids are just wallowing in shit and potentially eating it. I understand from Ethan's perspective why he would be outraged. I don't support his I don't support his sort of content. I don't agree with his progressive ideology. But the fact is that you have people that are objectively worse than he is trying to call him out and using this faux morality, this faux caring. You don't care. You're just Karens.
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming.
They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past 15. You have maybe 1 or 2 memories.
If you're wondering who the guy is she's watching, his name is Bad Empanada. And as far as harassment campaigns go, you'd think that Ian, as someone who cares so deeply about it, would be talking about him and not me. Here's a small taste.
I'd like to pay tribute to Ethan Klein and the new Twitch TOS that declares Zionism. Zion is the slur. I'd like to pay tribute to him by playing the first Al-Aqsa video game where you kill Zionist soldiers as a Palestinian resistance fighter. Anyways, are these Israelis? They're just standing there? I mean, is the Israeli army a bunch of Ethan Kleins? They're all on a fucking Ozempic binge. They don't understand what's going on around them. They haven't noticed me. Where do they keep the secretaries? In here? I'm hunting for secretaries right now. Secretary got...
Here's Bad Empanada once again, who posted a story saying, I'm the one who called CPS on Ethan Klein. I want CPS to take his kids away because they are seriously in danger.
Today was pretty bad, wasn't it? Really sucked for you. You were so disappointed. The betrayal of one of your closest long-term friends, huh? Tick-tock, though, Ethan. Tick-tock, because this was just a taste. This was just a small part of what we have organized for you. It's only gonna get worse. It's only gonna get worse, Mr. Klein. Every day, sit there just waiting in misery, in fear of what we have in store for you. Tick-tock goes the club.
Maybe if he stops harassing other creators.
He lets his
We really need to reopen insane asylums, and we need to start filling them with streamers and content creators. Holy shit, that was terrifying. Yeah, that's the person that you're going to go to as some sort of source, or some person that you're going to look to as it relates to trying to prove what an unhinged psycho Ethan Klein is. And this is sort of my same problem when it comes to people who hate Trump. So the people who hate Trump, their psychosis, their mental illness, has Trump being the worst person in existence, the worst person in the world. And when they tell stories about Trump, they have to embellish them because, well, Trump is a convicted felon for like 34 manufactured bullshit, lawfare crimes that are basically misdemeanors that they upgraded to felonies. Well, you really can't do that because the misdemeanor, the felony has to be in furtherance of another crime, and they couldn't prove the other crime. They didn't even allege the other crime. It was basically a kangaroo court. It was ridiculous. But they have to just basically use the hyperbolic rhetoric and the exaggerated language, and they have to use these made-up things because their hatred of Trump doesn't match with reality, so they have to just invent things. These people, if Ethan Klein were so bad, you wouldn't need to be doing what you're like. Ethan Klein is bad. I criticize him all the time. But for the love of God, I would never call CPS, and I would never consider myself to be a good person for doing so, or that I was morally in the right. No, you look retarded, you look crazy, you look unhinged. And the people you're aligning yourself with are all horrible. They're horrible. I just look at these people. Hassan, Frogan, Denims, this retard. These are the worst of the worst, and you're aligning with them to try to make your point. The reason why I do reactions to videos like this, I'll make it abundantly clear. My goal, and I'm never going to accomplish this in my lifetime, but I'm never going to stop trying. I would one day like people who consume content not to just eat the pig slop that's been dumped into their trough. For one day, for them to see the pig slop, for them to see the absolute shit that has been fed to them, and them to stop and go, yeah, you know what? No, I've got higher standards than this. I'm going to make my own food, and I'll leave you to whatever stinking pile of mess this is. I know it's a long shot, but I want people to actually think for themselves. I want people to be critical. I want people to look at things and not just believe it. It's like the same thing with the mainstream media. I want people to look at the mainstream media and look at them with a skeptical eye and to treat them like the liars that they've proven themselves to be. I don't think that you have to exaggerate people's bad deeds or words if you don't like them. For example, I call Hassan Piker a terrorist. Some people say, oh, that's hyperbolic language. No, it's not. I don't have to make up a single thing about Hassan. Do you know why? Because Hassan himself live streamed him bringing on an actual terrorist and interviewing him in a glowing, glazing way. He did that. By me articulating what he did, I'm not overemphasizing. Hassan Piker is a person that wants to normalize terrorism, wants to bring people into that fold. I mean, we saw at that event where he went to where the guy in the crowd was like, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Hassan, we love you. It's like, yeah, Hassan, in my view, is a terrorist. Because you don't have to be somebody who's on the ground. You can be a propagandist. You can be somebody who is actively out there fighting to spread that sort of disease. And that's exactly what Hassan is. Which is why I said I would be perfectly fine. I'd be perfectly comfortable if he got deported by Trump and sent to El Salvador or Guantanamo or anywhere else. You send him anywhere else you want. Send him back to Turkey. I mean, the guy is absolutely a terrorist. And that's the reality. I don't have to make that up about him. I can just show clips from his stream. I can show clips of Hassan talking to fellow streamers like NMPL LOL and have him show a friend a terrorist propaganda video and then walk out of the room. Like, that is so messed up. I don't even have to exaggerate that or lie about that. He recorded it himself and put it on the internet. Like, I've seen the video of Hassan, NMPLOL, who's obviously a friend of his, says, hey, what do we think about Hezbollah? Well, some people may think that they're terrorists, but, they're really freedom fighters. Yeah, I'm okay with Hezbollah. Like, understand, we don't have to make things up about people that we don't like. These people do. And the thing that's crazy is that there's enough material on Ethan Klein that you could criticize him. You could criticize him all day and night, but not when you're being disingenuous. Not when you have to lie and misrepresent. You've got to not show your audience the title of the video or the context. Not even going to mention the fact that all the clips that you're taking are from this show where, the CPS was called on their family. The accusations are absolutely crazy, and the people that are arrayed against him are absolutely nuts. And you have and you've got this guy making a video trying to make you seem like the bad guy, or that Ethan did something wrong in this. I don't know how Ethan should have responded because I've never had a group of mentally ill content creators call the cops on my family and tried to get my kids taken away from me. Like, that's a level of derangement and insanity that's really hard to quantify. And my only hope out of this is that Ethan can use this as a moment to realize that the people that he aligned himself with have always been fake friends. They've always been phonies, and the people on the left are absolute subhuman scum. They are. They are absolute degenerates. And they're creepy, and they're weird, and they're wrong about everything, and they're not moral, and God. It shouldn't have taken a moment like this to understand it, but I hope that he can come to a realization and understand that these people are the worst of the worst. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel, and I'll see you next time.